What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch back here with another free agency breakdown. Earl Thomas was one of the biggest free agent names out there on the market, and the Baltimore Ravens have scored huge with Earl Thomas on a 4-year, $55 million deal, leaving Seattle, coming to Baltimore, and finding a new home with the Ravens. The Ravens' safety lineage of that fantastic play from Eric Weddle and Ed Reed to Earl Thomas. It continues, and to me, I've always really closely compared Earl Thomas's game to that of Ed Reed. I think he's not quite as good, but in this era of the free safety and safety position in general, I think Earl Thomas of the 2010s has been the best safety of this decade. Personally, that is my opinion. He had a huge impact on the Legion of Boom, and he's one of the only defensive players in the NFL that if you take him off the field for his football team, it significantly impacts wins and losses. Earl Thomas is going to be huge for the Ravens, not only with his physical ability to cover in zone and man, his ability to make plays over the middle, lay the hammer on tight ends, running backs, and slot receivers, and receivers coming over the middle of the field, but also his intellect, his mental capacity is going to be able to replace that of Eric Weddle and CJ Mosley and what they did for the Ravens defense in really being that chess game player with the opposing quarterback, trying to confuse that quarterback, putting their defense in the right position to make plays, and audibling, before the actual play starts. So Earl Thomas, I think, is going to be great for the Ravens, not only physically, but also mentally, in being the leader of this defense and setting the tone of what the Ravens want to be as a team defensively. That is the type of style Earl Thomas will give your defense, because he has played with great defenses. He's played with some of the best defenses of all time, and Earl Thomas is going to bring that to Baltimore, and I'm sure he is really motivated, because I don't even think he got quite as much money as he actually expected in a 4-year, $55 million deal. I think he might feel a little bit disrespected. I think he might come in there with a little bit of motivation, because Landon Collins got a bigger contract than him, even though I would consider Earl Thomas still, if I was to pick a safety in the league for one game at the free safety position, I would pick Earl Thomas every day. So Earl Thomas is a guy that I don't think a lot of people actually respect in terms of his ability to play in the box and play like a tough, gritty style of football at the safety position and be able to hit as hard as he does. At 5'10", 200 pounds, people just think of him as that deep safety that can make plays and make interceptions, and he's great in coverage. But people don't actually factor in that he's an all-around complete safety, and like I said, the best of this last decade. He is a 6-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion, and one of the best defensive players of the last 10 years. He's had 3 seasons with 5 interceptions. He's had multiple seasons with just impact plays for a defense. He has 2 touchdowns on his career, 11 forced fumbles, 684 tackles, including 2 seasons over 100. So that just speaks to his versatility as a safety, because usually deep safeties don't have that many tackles. And he's played in a scheme with the Seahawks that's mostly been a cover 3 press bail sort of style of defense, which means his responsibility has primarily been as a deep cover 3 safety playing the middle of the field. And I think this type of defense that Baltimore plays, it's obviously more scheme varied. It does a lot of different things, and I think that's actually going to open up Earl Thomas to have an even bigger impact on what the Ravens do from a play-to-play basis, and he'll be able to do a lot of different things, including cover tight ends more often than he did in Seattle. I think he'll be able to, just be in the box a little bit more, maybe blitz a little bit more, and just vary up what he's going to do on a play-to-play basis. They did do that in Seattle, but not as much as you would think, because they play one style of defense a majority of the time, especially when he was there in his prime. So Earl Thomas, I love the signing for the Ravens. He is still a great player. He ranked second overall by Pro Football Focus this past season at the safety position. And like I said, 3 interceptions in 4 games, and he was just going off at the beginning of the year. He unfortunately did get injured, and that has been an issue with him for the past couple of years. But if he can stay on the field, if he can be consistent, the Ravens upgraded their defense with Earl Thomas over Eric Weddle, and he will also just be able to grow and groom some of these corners and secondary players that the Ravens have that are very promising. So the Ravens defense, yes, they lost a few players, but they got back, in my opinion, one of the best on the market in Earl Thomas. Let me know what you guys think of this signing, Earl Thomas to the Baltimore Ravens. Do you think this is a great signing? Do you not like it so much? Would you have preferred them to keep maybe a couple of their own players and spend their money more wisely? Let me know in the comment section below. It's Mitch of the Bottom Line View. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next video. Peace.